Hey, what's new? I'm Andy Contiguglia, bringing you from the trenches legal lessons in business. In the process of putting this program together, I'm interviewing business owners, and a few weeks ago I had the great opportunity of interviewing Robert Grieve, the owner of Nylund's Collision, and at least bring some of this information to you. So if you're interested in buying a business, here's some great lessons from a great entrepreneur, a great businessman, and a very good friend of mine, Robert Grieve, and what he went through in buying his business. Take care and enjoy. Nylund's Collision in Denver, Colorado.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Boom!
Let go. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to Nylund's Collision in Denver, Colorado. I am with my very good friend Robert Grieve, the owner and the proprietor of Nylund's Collision
it's a great day.
Denver. And we are here. This is sort of our inaugurational journey here into the world of podcasting and interviews and the legal lessons associated with it. So
Fun times.
I've given you a little bit of an introduction, but why don't you tell everybody about yourself, what you do here in Denver, and a little bit about your business.
Well, I own Nylund's Collision Center with my lovely wife, Carol. We repair collision damaged vehicles, deal with all the insurance company nightmares, and get lots of help from my friend Andy.
That's good. I hope that you don't absolutely always need my help, but I guess that sort of brings in a really good segue into sort of our talking about our discussion here. But the utilization of an attorney doesn't always have to be in times of bad.
Correct. Absolutely.
And our relationship has always sort of been in good times. There have been definitely a few bad times, but
yeah, we've had a couple bumps.
With the
Thanks for your help.
With the extent of without getting into any details about things, let's sort of talk about some of the good things. Like, where do you see in terms of the legal issues that you've sort of had to deal with, generally speaking, as a business owner? Okay, so tell us about why you sort of decided on going that route, purchasing a business that had already been sort of in existence versus starting your own from scratch.
Well, there's a few things I looked at. One of them was how much work do they have now? Mm-hmm. What did their financials look like? So were they consistent? And what kind of cars were they working on? Because for the vast majority of my time, it's been luxury vehicles that I've been taking care of those types of guests. And it's really more about the guest experience for me than it is about fixing the car. Fixing the car that's just one of those things. Being able to take care of people, that's a different dynamic.
So how did you actually find the business to buy in the first place?
I had a realtor that, it's a funny story. This guy, I call him up because he sold my sister-in-law a house here in Colorado, and I said, yeah, I'm looking to buy a business, and naturally we'll be looking to buy a house as well. And he said,
come on in, join the party. Oh, we're bringing, cinnamon rolls.
Only at Nylund's.
Beautiful.
Only at Nylund's. Thank you, Heather.
Cheers. Here you go, sir. Cha-ching. I'll take it. Great.
So this realtor says, I don't do commercial.
Okay.
I said, that's fine. You do now. And we'll do this together. All I need you to be is my arms and legs in Colorado. Go find the businesses that are for sale. I'll fly out. I know contract law. It'll get me this far. And then we'll get all the head honchos involved. And found me Nylund's.
Great.
Yep.
And so the process of buying a business, I mean, there's this whole area called due diligence.
Oh, tons.
And why don't you sort of explain sort of your process in determining whether Nylund's was the right business for you to be purchasing? What factors did you look at? What criteria was on your mind? I mean, you mentioned early on that your first criteria is you want to make sure that they have a good and existing book of business, that their books are good, so to speak. But why don't you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, I am fairly decent at accounting, so I scrubbed their books very hard looking for holes. I don't look for the good, I look for what's wrong with it and potential potholes.
Right.
And I couldn't really find much. It was a small business, very few employees, and it was something I knew I could grow. And I could grow relatively quickly with my background.
Right.
And so that's kind of why I picked Nylund's, and it had the vehicles. But you know, here's the thing. They said they had a contract, which it's never really a contract, it's a handshake.
Right.
And I know how you feel about handshake agreements.
I have an opinion.
Yeah. With a local Lexus dealer.
Okay.
And after all the papers signed and checks are passed back and forth, all the rest of that stuff, I find out that he kind of lost that, which I was counting on.
He lost the relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
And they weren't using him anymore. And the only way to find that out really was to be there and see what's going on. Now, I did this whole purchase from Michigan. I only came out here to close the deal. I saw the place twice, had the cars in it I was looking for, had the right equipment. I mean, he spent good money and had the best equipment that you can have. It's another thing to look at.
Right.
Especially in today. Today it's far more important than it was back then, but he had the best of the best. So it just made me feel as though we got a good business going on here, and I'm not going to have to spend a bunch of capital trying to get the correct equipment and stuff. But they lost this relationship. And how do you ever know that?
Right.
You know, because there's never, you're not going to get somebody referring you business to sign a contract, I'm going to refer you business.
Well, let me ask you this question. When you were buying the business, I mean, you were buying it, were you buying it with the expectation that the company had this relationship with this Lexus group, which was a huge source of their revenue, and that was sort of what you were buying in addition to that?
Yeah, and I knew that I could grow that.
Right.
Because I come from the dealership world, I speak their language. And consequently, that's how I got back in. Okay. But and it's been a wonderful relationship since then. Yeah. So, but you know, when you're buying a business, you know, you think this, but that isn't necessarily what it's going to be. And sometimes, you know, if you have the ability to, I don't want to say stalk the place, but you know, be there frequently to see if everything is what it's purported to be.
Right.
Great. I didn't have that opportunity.
But let me ask you this. So how did you learn that the relationship with this Lexus dealership had tattered and washed away?
Because I didn't see any Lexuses coming through the door.
Okay.
And if you have a relationship, you know, I'm thinking in the first month or so, you'll see something.
Right.
And we did have a Lexus there, and I ordered the parts for it, and I'm talking to the parts guy, and I said, you know, I don't see a bunch of stuff going through, and the parts guy is actually the guy that told me that, yeah, we're not sending business over there anymore. I'm like,
interesting.
Outstanding.
Right. So now, when you learned this, had you already purchased the company, or
I owned it at that point.
So this was something you found out after the fact.
After the fact.
All right. So on to sort of legal lesson number 2 here is how did you rebuild your relationship with that dealership in order to help bring in, you know, this sort of core and foundational recurring business for your company?
Well, I went to the owner that I purchased it from. He had to stay on with me for, I don't know, a month or something like that. Okay. And during that month, I said, I had learned that they're not doing that anymore. I said, okay. I said, you kind of misled me a little bit. Mm-hmm. You got to be frank.
Right.
So this is what I want you to do. I want you to call the guy over there, tell him that you have new ownership here, and tell him that I want to take him and his wife, you and your wife, and I are going to go to the fort for dinner.
Okay.
And just get to know each other. I don't know if anything's going to come out of it or not, but I want you to know who I am and what I bring to the table.
Right.
And we had that dinner, and it's been great ever since then. We grew that relationship